The main thing, if you're trying to climb, is going to be to stop blaming your teammates. Focus on yourself and make the one factor in every match that is consistent, which is you, right? Whenever you queue into a match, you're gonna have you, always, and 9 randoms, unless you're obviously grouping with someone, right? But even then, you are not fully in control of that, right? So even if you trust your duo or your group or whatever, right? The only factor that you can truly control in any given match is your own performance. So there is no reason to be focusing on what your teammates are doing and being like, no, I lost that match because my team threw. Well, maybe that even is true. Does it matter though? You can have that as a learning experience, and that isn't going to only happen to you, that's gonna happen to enemies as well, right? You're gonna have some matches with throwers and the enemies are gonna have some matches with throwers. You're gonna get levers and the enemies are gonna get levers, right? So it's just not worth bothering with. You try to go into comp, try to learn, try to improve as much as possible, and don't let yourself get tilted, which is gonna cause you to play worse by those external factors that you have no control over. The one problem that this mentality can bring to you is going to be that it is like a heavy burden on you, right? You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to perform, to get better, to control the matches yourself, right? Which over a long period of time, you can end up just feeling bad. Maybe because you simply are not being able to improve at a pace that you wanted to, right? You set your expectations too high, for example, or you simply hit a plateau, you hit a brick wall and you can't push through, or you simply feel bad that you're blaming yourself all the time, right? No, it wasn't my teammates, I could have played better. So you shouldn't blame your teammates, but you also shouldn't bring your own morale down. You need to be able to realize, okay, no, I played this well, I'm gonna be happy with having a good performance here, right? Yes, maybe you lost a game where if your teammates ulted better, or instead of dying with ult, they pressed Q, right? Something simple where that decision of not ulting when they should have ulted could have won you the game. Yes, that is frustrating. If you played well, you should be satisfied with that performance, right? You should be at least able to be to realize that you did stuff right, you improved, you did it your best, you gave the game your best, right? That is very, very important, because if you let your morale drop, then you're gonna enter a loop, which you're gonna be dropping further and further and further, and then you're going to be losing more, right? And it's gonna snowball out of control, right? So you need to be able to realize when you did well, compliment yourself for that, but also realize that you could have done more, right? It's a very difficult balance, and it's a balance that I fail a lot of the times, especially when I start to grind this game a lot, which is what I've been doing lately. I want to be top 100 combined, so I've been grinding a lot, but this has caused me some issues with my mentality. The main one being the ego. I started to develop ego in the sense that, okay, I'm playing consistently, I'm keeping my hours up, so I feel like my mechanics are on point. I feel like I know how the game works, I feel like I understand the meta, I feel like I know how to play, right? But then I have some teammates where I'm like, okay, they're not playing ideally. I could help them by, for example, calling stuff out, shot calling my team to victory. But then I'm like, no, these people in GM, they should already know this kind of stuff, right? See, if I know this type of stuff in GM, they should also know this type of stuff. So I'm not gonna be shot calling my team to win when they should know these things, right? If we lose, it's because they deserve to lose that match, right? And that is a really, really bad mentality that I fall into the trap of a lot when I start to grind this game a lot and become more content on my own skill and feel like I deserve better. So for example, another thing that has caused this is, for example, just getting GM2 on Genji and now being GM5, right? It's a 3 division difference. I sort of feel like I deserve to be in GM2 still, because of my performance, right? I feel like my performance has increased from the time that I was in GM2, yet I'm on a lower rank, so I feel like I should be at that rank and I am not at that rank, which is problematic. I feel like I'm entitled to still being in GM2 if my performance now is higher than my performance when I was in GM2, right? And that's a problem, I'm not entitled to that. First, there was a balance change. There were also Overwatch League that just happened with a new meta, and then people in ranked are trying to adapt to that meta, right? And some with success, but mostly without success, right? Because it's just a completely different level of play. And I'm not entitled to keep my rank throughout different states of the game, right? And also, if I watch Overwatch League, I can't just say that my teammates watched Overwatch League, right? So they might just be trying to copy the comps that they see in ranks, but they might not know how to play. And if I have watched these comps, I understand the meta, I should be teaching my team how to play. The important thing is that you can give the right information at the right time for your teammates, so that they can actually perform on said comp if they are trying to play that comp, right? So for example, currently Overwatch League was Winston, Soldier, Reaper, Lucio, Kiriko. If your team is playing split, right, for example, your Reaper isn't, let's say, marking their Winston, your Reaper is starting to flank, then that could be a big issue, because their Winston is just gonna get to kind of not exactly play for free, but Reaper is the main character that is gonna be keeping the Winston in check in this comp. So if your Reaper is flanking while their Reaper is frontlining and putting your Winston in check, their Winston just has a way better time than yours, right? And that could be the reason you lose the game. And everyone could be having good stats in that match, right? Including your Reaper. But because your Reaper isn't doing what he should be doing, because he's just simply, instead of frontlining, he is flanking, right? That could be losing the match. So in the scenario, all you need to do is tell your Reaper that he has to help the frontline to win that match, right? Doesn't have to be anything complicated. But if you have this mentality, you have this ego, you feel entitled, then you can end up falling into this trap, which I've fallen, which is not teaching your team because you feel like your team should already know those things, right? Or you're better than them, so if you lose the match, it's actually their fault, right? Also very important to note, first and foremost, you should be setting the right goals. Getting to a certain rank isn't a goal, it's a dream. That's something that Spylo said very, very well. You should be setting the correct goals. You shouldn't be acting as if your dream is your goal. If your goal is to reach a new peak, then you don't focus on the things that you need, which is improving to reach said peak, right? Improving to get there. You're focused on the wrong thing. If you improve, that rank is gonna come naturally from as a result of your growth, right? So that's very important. That's very, very important. Also, another real important thing, don't forget to enjoy the game. A lot of people forget this. Even if it's competitive, it's still a game and you should be enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, chances are you're playing worse. If you're actually enjoying the game, it's way easier for you to perform, right? There is a lot of talk that I've heard, a lot of theory about getting into the zone, and one of the main things that I've noticed from my experience and hearing other people talk about it is going to be getting the right level of challenge, right? So for example, if you have a challenge that's too big for you, or you have a challenge that's too small for you, then you're gonna get bored, you're not gonna be able to engage, you're gonna feel too much pressure, and you're not gonna be able to get into the zone. You need to have the right amount of challenge. But you also, and that's a very important thing to notice, when you're gonna be getting into the zone is when you're gonna be getting the most engaged with the game. Which means you're gonna be not necessarily enjoying, but you can see the relation, right? If you can't enjoy the game, you are very unlikely to be able to engage with the game on a very deep level where you can actually reach the zone, right? You need to be able to enjoy the game realistically to be able to engage with it in such a way that you can perform at a higher level, reaching the zone, or simply playing the game naturally, right? So you can see the relation between enjoying the game and actually performing in the game, right? That's another thing that I wanted to mention. Another thing to notice, when you're playing ranked, remember how I said about, oh, I picked GM2 on DPS and then I am now on GM5, right? One thing that's important to note is that your rank will fluctuate. It doesn't matter your skill level. Sometimes you're gonna be getting unlucky, and you're not gonna be able to win those matches. And what's gonna happen if you keep performing well, well, you're gonna get past those bad matches and then you're gonna have good matches and then you're coming back, right? The important thing is that you don't let some RNG bad matches turn into you feel bad, perform worse, and then you create a cycle that could actually make you lose deservedly, right? Because sometimes you are gonna lose matches that you deserve, but that's not gonna be all the time. If you are playing at a performance of a higher rank, you are going to climb there given enough matches. You just have to push through the sample size at which RNG actually matters, right? If you play enough matches, RNG with levers, throwers, whatever, isn't going to matter, because that's gonna be an insignificant amount of the matches that you played. So focus on the skill, because this skill is going to be the thing that is going to be putting you at those higher ranks. You shouldn't be thinking about the rank, because your rank will naturally fluctuate no matter if you're playing well or not. Also, one thing, I have 2 accounts, right? Both of them are the same MMR, GM/top 500. But I noticed that on my outs, I a lot of the times perform better than on my main. Why is that? Is it because the matches are different? No, they are the same MMR. They get the same matches, right? The main difference is that I don't care as much about the rank. In fact, I don't care at all. I'm playing in my ult to just have fun and enjoy the game. And as a result of all what we talked about before, it should be pretty obvious why that is, right? Why just from swapping the accounts, I instantly play better. It's because I stop caring about the rank, I focus on what really matters, right? So having an alt account, not for smurfing, not for intentionally being on a lower rank than you deserve to be. Having an alt account so you can actually focus on the correct things, have the right mentality, can be useful. And that is something that I've noticed. You can obviously do this with your main accounts, but it's just harder. So this is why I'm breaking this up as an example and also as proof of what I'm talking, right? But yeah, this is basically what I wanted to talk about. One of the main things that you have to notice is when you feel like you're stuck, you shouldn't be feeling like, okay, I'm bad, enter that loop of dropping lower and lower and lower, and then you can't get out of it. You need to understand, okay, it could be many things. It could be, 1, a bad streak of games from RNG, or you simply playing badly those games, it wasn't your day, or it wasn't your week, or whatever, right? And you're gonna bounce back from it, right? Or it could be that, no, you have reached a brick wall. You need to be able to improve a lot to be able to get to the next level. One thing that some people don't realize is that ranking up in Overwatch is really tough. One really good rhythm for players to improve would be like a whole rank per season. That is already a lot. And yet some people seem to not be satisfied by ranking up just 500 SR, right? 5 divisions in a 2-month period. Don't feel bad if you hit a brick wall. That will happen. That could be for many reasons. As I've talked about, also another thing that could be the cause of this would be just developing a bad habit that works in a certain rank but gets punished on the next one. And then you have to get rid of that habit to be able to actually push past. And that can be way tougher than actually just simply working your skills up, right? Because you have to unlearn something instead of learn and hone what you have. That can be very tough. Most important thing is to just keep your mentality on the right state, not letting yourself down, and keep pushing through it and making a conscious effort to always keep moving forward, right? That applies to a lot of things. That doesn't apply just to Overwatch. For example, you could draw a parallel here with the gym, right? A lot of times you're gonna be like, okay, I'm getting some muscle, I'm feeling good, and then you stop for a while because it starts to become tougher to gain muscle. And then you have to work harder and for longer, and then your gains are gonna be slower, but they're still gonna be there. You just have to keep at it. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this talk. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, and then I don't know if I can answer those in the comments, or maybe if I missed a lot of things I can address those in another video, a short or something like that, right? But for now, this is gonna be it for this video, and I will see you all in the next time.